To our first video. This is going to be a series of videos where we're going to be talking about organic chemistry, solving some problems, and going over some topics. Today we're going to be discussing bond formation and likely chemical formulas, right? So bond formation, elements like carbon, they're trying to fill their octet. Right. So to fill the octet, that's how bonds happen, because elements are trying to fill that octet. So if you want to guess likely chemical formulas or the bond formation, you have to be familiar with how many valence electrons chemicals elements have. In this example, we can see the periodic table over here. So from row 14 to row 18, these elements make covalent bonds. Covalent bonds is the sharing of electrons, right? So carbon is in row 14. In row 14, so we ignore the 10, the one in the front, and we see that carbon has 4 valence electrons. Nitrogen has 5, oxygen has 6, fluorine has 7, and helium has 8. And it goes all that row, right? There is clearly exceptions for each one of them, but we're not gonna go over the exceptions today. Just know there is exceptions for some of the rows. So for row 18, they don't like to make bonds. Why? Because helium already has a full octet. Right? They can make bonds, they can, but they're not as likely because they have full octets. Helium is not the best example. Neon would be a better example. Neon is not as likely to make bonds because it already has a full octet. Well, carbon only has 4 valence electrons in its outermost formula, right? So carbon likes to make 4 bonds, because covalent bonds is the sharing of electrons, right? So carbon has 4 electrons in its outermost formula, so it likes to make 4 bonds. Right, so a way we can do this is we subtract the 4 minus 8, so carbon likes to make 4 bonds, nitrogen wants to make 3 bonds because it has 5 valence electrons, right? Oxygen has 6, so you subtract 6 minus 8, oxygen likes to make 2 bonds, fluorine likes to make... So as I was saying, carbon has 4 valence electrons. 4 minus 8 equals 4. So it needs to share its electrons to reach to an octet. Nitrogen, it only has 5 valence electrons. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So it needs to share 3 electrons to go to an octet. That's why nitrogen, it's likely to make a triple bond. Oxygen is known to make double bonds. Fluorine is known to make 1 bond. And helium is not really known to make bonds. Why? Because it's a noble gas, and noble gases are not known for making bonds. Right? So whenever we're trying to guess likely chemical formulas, we have to have in mind how much bonds does the elements have to have their valence electrons. Group 1 to 13. Group 1 to 13, they usually like to make ionic bonds, which it means that they transfer or they give out their electrons. They like to lose their electrons. For example, boron, instead of trying to fill its octet making 5 bonds, what it wants to do, it's like to lose those 3 bonds to reach its noble gas status. So elements in the group 1 through 13 like to donate their electrons, right? So we have to have in mind when guessing the likely chemical formulas, the elements 1 to 13 like to donate their electrons. Boron, because it makes ionic bonds, it makes 3 bonds to donate those electrons to reach its octet, its noble gas status. So now that we say that, we go to problem 24 in chapter 1. It's asking us to guess the likely chemical formulas, right? So what we can do to write them out, it's always, if it will come with experience, right? You don't have to always write the Lewis dot structure, but whenever you're getting used to, if you are not that good, if you need to work a little bit more, you can always write the Lewis dot structure, right? So it says that it makes at least a hydrogen bond, right? And it makes an alcohol bond, right? OH. So nitrogen has 2 bonds. But how many bonds does nitrogen likes to make? Nitrogen likes to make 3 bonds. So nitrogen is missing 1 bond. So for A, we will have to put NH, 2 OH. So for aluminum and chloride. So for aluminum and chloride, if you remember where aluminum is, you can just go to the periodic table and you can try to find aluminum. It's next to boron, so in the same row, the boron, so it likes to make 3 bonds. So you have aluminum. And where is chlorine? Does chlorine like a double bond? Does chlorine like 1 bond? We're gonna see the chlorine, it's down fluorine, in the same row the fluorine. So chlorine only likes to make 1 bond. So pause the video and try to think what's the likely chemical formula, because this is easy. If aluminum likes to make 3 bonds and chlorine likes to make 1 bond, the likely chemical formula is going to be aluminum chloride 3. Right? So this is carbon, fluorine 2, chlorine 1. So we already stated that carbon likes to make 4 bonds. And we already stated that fluorine likes to make 1 bond, and we already stated that chlorine likes to make 1 bond. So what's the likely formula for carbon, fluorine 2, chlorine 2? It's carbon, fluorine 2, chlorine 2. So it's the same thing over again. Oxygen likes to make 2 bonds. So it's 2 bonds for oxygen. So you have 2 bonds for carbon. So what else can we put? You can put hydrogen and another hydrogen to complete the 4 bonds that the carbon likes to make. So the answer will be carbon, hydrogen, 2, 0. So this is the end of this video. If you have any questions, if you have any ideas for improves, let me know and I'll try to work on it. If you have any subjects that you want me to revise, let me know, put in the comments and give a like.